Welcome to Books and Beyond with That Guy Jay. I'm your host, That Guy Jay. It is officially 2025. I hope you all had a happy and healthy new year. With this being the first episode of the year, I figured this would be a great time to go over my bookish related goals for the year. But first, let's not forget the watch of the day till the end of the episode like last time. Today's watch of the day is the Armatron Griffey. This is a very affordable watch. It's built kind of as an homage to the Hamilton and other original LCD watches of the 1970s. Like I said, it's very affordable, it's fun, it's funky, it's a little bit retro. Very happy to have this one in my collection. Now, as far as goals go, I've never been a New Year's resolution type of guy. I've never really made them before. I've never gotten into it. I've read statistics that most people give up on their resolutions by like the end of January, and that was never the reason. Just for some reason, I never really got into resolutions. But since I got back into reading a couple of years ago, I have really enjoyed making reading-related goals, whether it be the amount of books I read or the types of books I read. But this year, I'd like to expand on that and get a little bit more specific in certain areas. Up first, we can get the quickest and easiest goals out of the way. I set my book goal at 52 books for the year. That's a book a week, which is a very easy pace for me. I have surpassed that the last couple of years, so that goal might seem too low, but you never know what life's going to bring, and I like to make a realistic goal, one that I know that I'll meet, but still have something that I'm reaching towards throughout the year. On top of that, I would like to bring back a goal that I had from a couple of years ago, which was to read one nonfiction book a month. It didn't matter what it was, but at least one nonfiction a month. I did hit more than 12 nonfiction in 2024, but it wasn't one a month. There was months that I missed, and I doubled up on other months, which is still fine, but I'd like to try and be more consistent with that and get at least one nonfiction a month in. There's some great nonfiction book clubs on Fable, so I might look into those, and if you have any recommendations, definitely let me know in the comments. And to add on to that goal, I think I want to try and read at least one book by an indie author every month. There's a ton of great options available on KU and other platforms, and I would love to try and support indie authors more this year. Again, if you have any suggestions, definitely let me know in the comments. Now on to just a more book-related goal, not necessarily a reading goal, but it's related. I just finally got a library card again last year, and I found out that the library system in my county has, I believe, 36 libraries, and I've only been to 2 of them. The one I've been to the most is obviously my home library, the closest one. I would like to get to as many of those libraries as I can this year and check them all out. I've always loved that each library has its own feel and its own vibe, and I love to see how they're set up. I don't think I'm going to put a set number on how many libraries I'd like to visit this year, but I'd just like it to be significantly more than the 2 that I've been to in my county so far. I think libraries are such a great and underutilized resource, and I want to participate in the system and make sure that they continue to get the funding that is needed to operate. Adding on to that, I'd like to try at least a couple of groups or activities that are offered throughout the library system, whether it be an in-person book club. I've never really tried one of those before. Whether it be going to see some speakers that come to the different libraries. I don't know, but I would like to try and get out to a few of those this year as well. I've also seen people try different fun reading challenges throughout the year to add on to their total book number reading goal, but I'm not sure which one I want to do there. So again, if you have any ideas or any fun ones that you've tried, let me know in the comments. Now, my biggest goal for 2025 is kind of the elephant in the room for my entire book talk content, and that is my lack of ability to finish series. I have said numerous times, I am a serial series starter. I am great at starting series. I have done a really poor job on finishing them, and I am currently in the middle of at least 20 series. I stopped counting at 20 because I didn't want to hurt my own feelings more than that. Now, a few of the series I have a built-in excuse. They're not completed yet. But I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the series that are completed or even the ones that I'm not even up to date on yet. So for 2025, that is absolutely going to be my biggest goal. I own a lot of books already in series, and I need to continue them. I set a goal back in September to finish 5 series by the end of the year to try and work on this list, and I only managed to finish 2. So even once I had set that goal at the end of last year, I did such a poor job with it. I'm not 100% sure where this comes from. I sort of blame Book Talk a little just because I see so many great reviews for so many series, and I get a serious case of FOMO, and I just hop from here to there to here to there, and I read book ones, sometimes book twos, and then something else catches my eye. When I was younger, I was big on binging series. I binged the entire Game of Thrones series more than once. I used to be very into an author named Harlan Coben, and I binged his series that I don't even know how many books are in it now, but back then I believe it was about 14 or 15. So I know I'm capable of this. I used to do this. I just need to focus up. And I think I'm going to make a list of the series that I want to finish by, let's say, June. And then I'll check in at the halfway point in the year and reevaluate from there. But it was really fun for a couple of years just to jump around to all of the amazing suggestions on Book Talk. But it's starting to become overwhelming. And I'm starting to feel like it's hard to recommend books when I haven't read the rest of the series. I can tell you a ton of great book ones, but I don't know if the series continues to be great or if it falls off entirely. So this is definitely my top priority for the year. And beyond that, it's a great way to get through my physical TBR because a lot of the books in my physical TBR are series. And that's another goal of mine this year. Try and read more of the books that are already on my shelf. I think Book Talk has made us all a little bit guilty of that, where our physical TBRs have exploded over the last few years, and I'm right there with you, and I love it. I love using books as decorations. I always joke that book collecting is a separate hobby from reading, which I still stand by. I think there's people that probably collect limited series of books that don't even read them, and that's perfectly fine. People collect all sorts of things. I collect affordable watches on top of books. But I also think it would be great to cut down on my physical TBR and also to utilize my Kindle more because there's a lot of the series that are on my TBR also available on KU. There's some series that I fully own on my Kindle because I got them on sale for only a few bucks. And they're just sitting there in digital space being wasted, and I really do want to get to all of them. Now, in terms of this podcast, I absolutely have goals for Books and Beyond as well. I would like to stay consistent and get out an episode every week. So far, I've managed to do that. If I could continue to do that throughout the entire year, that would be absolutely amazing. And that's the goal I'm setting off with. I know it's kind of a lofty one. That means 52 episodes this year, but I definitely think I can do it. Another big goal is to get more guests on here and keep reaching out to more and more types of people and different levels of authors, from indie to maybe even more established authors, and see if I can get them on to have a little chat with us and go over their reading and especially their writing journey. I'd like to get at least one watch content creator on as well, because that's become a very big hobby of mine, and I don't have any people in real life to talk about that with. I think that would be a great time. I'd also love to see if I could become a guest on at least one other person's podcast at some point this year. I think that that would be a really fun experience. This is technically my second podcast in my life. The first one was short-lived, but I've never been on anyone else's podcast. I would love to see how they do it, and I would love to just sit back and be the one getting asked questions instead of having to come up with the questions. I have some short-term goals as well. I'd really like to hit 100 YouTube subscribers by the end of January, if at all possible. So if you wouldn't mind, like, comment, subscribe, share with anyone who might be interested. It helps a ton. It also really helps if you could rate 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I would also love to get some conversations going in the comments. I would love to hear what your reading goals are for the year. How many books do you plan to read? Do you have any goals related to genres or types of books, physical versus audio? Please let me know in the comments. I would absolutely love to hear about it. This is just a quick start of the year episode. I hope everyone's doing great. Thank you, and I will see you next week.